Welcome to Solutions from the Yard, a candid discussion about life behind bars and its effect on society. We'll discuss reintegration or re-entry back into the community post-incarceration. Your host for this episode is Charles Hopkins.
Welcome to this edition of Solutions from the Yard. I'm Charles Hopkins, joined with Michael Dickinson-Hill. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing fine, Brother Charles.
Solutions from the Yard tries to examine and explore all things dealing with the criminal justice system, be it the BOP, the DOC, or any correctional institution, parole, probation. We try to examine all aspects of the criminal justice system and find solutions from the yard. Today's show, we're going to be talking about the CSOSA, Court Service and Offender Supervision Agency. We was at a table event, myself and Dickinson Hill, and a table event is an event where your organization sets up a table and hand out resource information to different people that attend the event. And we was at a table event this past week, and the person that was responsible for it was the community activist or the community supervisor for CSOSA. And she was telling us that CSOSA is going to got this policy coming out saying that if a client, that's a person that's under their jurisdiction on parole or probation, if a client does not have a job, then they're going to put electronic monitor on them. And to my surprise, she was advocating that the thing that we was dealing with that day was every agency that provides services for returning citizens. But to my surprise, and she was responsible for the organizing, but to my surprise, was nobody there that provided jobs. No agency was there that provided jobs. The agency that me and Dickinson Hill represented, we provide wraparound services, and he'll talk about that in a minute. So, Dickinson Hill, what did you think about that when she brought that up about this current policy that they're about to implement?
I look at it as a kind of like a catch-22 because, as you being a probation agency and you were telling your clients there or, people that you are over in probation that if you don't have a job, we're going to, put the box on you. But what are you doing to help them get a job?
Come on.
Because everybody just can't walk out of prison and just get a job, because a lot of brothers don't have no certification in nothing. And it's going to be impossible for you just to walk out of jail and get a job. So therefore, them implementing a policy like that is putting the person in a situation to fail.
Right. And what do you think is the reason behind it? I got my own view, but tell me what you think is the reason behind this particular draconian policy that's coming out.
From my point of view, is to stagnate you, because that's what it's going to do. If you come home and you already having problems with getting a job, and then they turn around and put you on home confinement, now that's stagnating you from even coming out to get a job, because now you are basically locked into the house. You back in prison almost again. So it puts you in a position where as though now that prison state of mind come back in, you feel like you're being locked up, and it's not conducive or to a person that's trying to really shake that, because a lot of us have been traumatized from being in prison, being locked behind those doors, for 23 and 1, and like you were saying one time before, being on lockdown, and you kind of get claustrophobic. So it's going to be the same result, and it's going to be detrimental to the individual's his mental stability, and it's going to start to decay.
And I recognize that I heard the mayor of Washington, D.C., Mayor Bowser, who's running again for re-election, And she stated that because of the uptick in crime in the D.C. in the nation capital, she stated that the reason why they have an uptick in crime is because the men that's committing the crime got out early under the CARES Act. And the CARES Act was when they cut individuals' sentences because they, for whatever, they made progress within the system. And so she was claiming that was the reason why the uptick in crime. And I was talking to some people about that, and it's almost as if they dusting off the playbook. Crime. Then who you blame for crime, or how do you give the perception that you got this under control? Go lock up people that's got records, and who gonna say anything about them when they committed a crime before? So it stands to reason that if they putting handcuffs on, that might be what they did now. But talk about your own self. When you got out, was you given job opportunities? Was you given the training to get a job opportunity, or did you have to take and do this on your own? Was the CSOs or whatever agency was you under, did they go out their way to give you resources and information on how you could get employment, housing, and other things that you needed?
No, I everything that I got, because I reached out and went out on my own. I wasn't on any form of probation or parole when I came home, but I was on home confinement. Mm-hmm. When I first came home, I was under 50 days of home confinement. And during that time, I was what you would call, they would say high risk, or they had me on the high security level, which meant I didn't have no type of curfew, whereas though like some people, they come home and they have a curfew. You might be on home confinement, you gotta be in the house at a certain time. Mm-hmm. I didn't have no curfew, none of that. I had to stay in the house. I couldn't leave out the yard of my house. Anytime that I did want to leave out, I would have to put in a itinerary to the case manager that was over me. I had to put in an itinerary, and it took them maybe sometime 3 days to approve. So you figure I can go somewhere maybe once a week. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't go multiple places. So if I wanted to go somewhere, I couldn't put in the itinerary and say, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go buy me some clothes, then I'm gonna stop and go to this place, and I'm gonna stop and go that. No, you had to go to one place, and I was
yeah.
So it was really, you couldn't really get nothing done. It was basically the 50 days that I was on home confinement. I just stayed in the house because it was so much of a hassle just getting the pass to come out. It wasn't even really worth the hassle. And
that's the problem that's going to be going with this box. And I know I'm under CSOSA's jurisdiction. I got a 5-year probation, which I got 3 years left on that, and I got a 2036 expiration date on my parole. Now, when I got out, and I served 48 years, almost 50 years, when I got out, 1, I didn't know how to ride the bus. 2, I was really real conscientious about everything going on around me. I didn't get no training from the institution. I wasn't given no packet of information on where to go. I had got the information about the mayor's office on returning citizen. So I went down there and I got some information. I got some was helpful, some wasn't. But in terms of employment, I was going to all the places, and every place I was told that because of my age, chances of me getting employment was slim enough. But they didn't say age. It was implied. And, oh yeah, well, you need to see AARP. They got something. And so at that point, I was really developing the paperwork to file a discrimination claim for age discrimination. But I noticed that the entire time I was out and when I was going around, I was in them spaces with returning citizens and didn't know a whole lot of people had no jobs. And when you had this kind of situation, then you find the person that's subjected to that. And the day I talked to somebody today, and he told me that one of his clients was placed on the box, and his client thought that the reason why he was placed on the box because his case manager had told his PO something, but the director of this program said, nah. After they talked to me, because we was going back and forth about it, he was telling me like, oh man, well, dudes be doing crazy and he playing devil advocate. But then he told me, they said, man, you know what? This dude told me they put him on the box, and he was blaming his case manager, and I said, nah, that ain't why they put you on the box. They put you on the box because you ain't got no job. But more importantly, the reason why he ain't got no job, he got a physical disability. So now you got a physical disability, you can't work, but yet you're gonna be subjected to the treatment of not getting a job, right? Look, let's examine, some of the alternatives, let's look at why C. Sosa is not looking at some alternatives. Why do you think is that?
They're a probation agency. It's not in their best interest to help you get a job. That's just like the slave master telling the slave how to escape off the plantation.
That's right.
Hey man, that the gate over there got a hole in it. So that's not in their best interest. That's how they gonna keep a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to keep the recidivism rate flourishing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to throw out little snares and traps, to keep a person coming in, because we did the Zoom with C. Sosa before,
That's right.
And we gave them a lot of suggestions, and they said that they're going to lift some of their tolerance, their no tolerance policies and stuff like that. And, is they always been playing the devil advocate from the get-go. So, when it come to that, you got to really think about it. You made a valid point. If C. Sosa is your probation agency, they threw this table in the event. They the ones that sponsored it. Why wouldn't you invite or make it mandatory? All the people that's under probation at C. Sosa, make it mandatory that they attend this event.
Yep.
Just like you would tell them it's mandatory to come in and take a urine. All right, tell them it's mandatory to come to this event, and make sure you invite all the agencies that have jobs available.
That's right.
You should have turned that into a jobs seminar. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can put your clients in position to get a job instead of inviting a whole bunch of different agencies that can't employ you.
Yeah, right. And that's exactly what they did. And it's not a knock on the agents, because the agencies we represented, Voice for a Second Chance, and the DC Kitchen was there, the Nehemiah Project was there, Negotiation Works was there. And I'm familiar with every last one of these agencies, and all of them are doing good works, but none of them are in a position to employ 32,000 individuals that's coming back to the District of Columbia. None of them in a position to give 32,000 or more people that's under the jurisdiction of C. Sosa employment. And the fact that this person that was responsible for sponsoring this activity did not take that into account and mentioned that this is her program is to sponsor activities such as these. So your position is to stay relevant in your job capacity. I'm a sponsor of activities and invite groups. But in terms of sponsoring activity and invite groups, and go back to your point, Mike, and make it mandatory for the clients that's under C. Sosa to attend or sponsor activity and say, have a situation where you giving them information about jobs or you using your power to give people jobs. You're not doing that, because to do that, stand the reason that if I'm working and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do and I'm off probation, then why do you need 3,000 parole and probation? Why do you need 350 parole and probation officers when your caseload is not that large? So somebody got to go. So how do I save my job? I save my job by inventing something to say I'm guaranteed to keep my job, because I know for a fact that people are not going to get jobs. But let's look at some of the alternatives, some of the programs or things that do exist and or advocate in that area about what some of the alternatives could be other than the box?
I believe like some of the alternatives are, just like I'm navigator here at Voices for a Second Chance, and they should have the same thing there. Why do you have a probation agency that don't have case managers and counselors that are working on getting you a job?
That's
they
right.
supposed to be connected with every agency or any business that's employing or can get, a referral to get you employed, or any form of vocational training, because a lot of brothers just can't come home and get a job. They can, they might have to go back to school,
Right.
get their GEDs or get some type of training. And that's the thing that they should be having. They should be having all the connections with all the agencies in Washington, D.C. that can give them that leg up.
Yeah.
If you really want them to succeed, you should have all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Just like you have all hands on
That's
deck to
right.
lock everybody up.
Yeah.
Have all hands on deck to get these brothers and sisters employment.
And I thought about that when she first said it. First thing I thought about, I said, well, why haven't y'all reached out to like Strive DC? Why haven't y'all reached out to UPO? Why haven't y'all reached out to the Catholic Charities? Why haven't y'all reached out to these other organizations that's providing jobs? Why haven't you reached out to these organizations and employed them to say, listen, can you take up our clients? But more importantly, why haven't you looked at the landscape of what services is being offered and mandate that they participate in the service? Because if the goal is to make sure they stay out, then this will be one way. But if your goal is, your ulterior motive is to know where they at. Okay, I want to know where they at. This is our way of knowing where they at. This is accountability. This is us being accountable towards who we supposed to be overseeing. Then if that's the case, then why don't you say, well, UPO is offering these classes on training, get your CDL license. So we're going to contact UPO and say, can you take clients from C. Sosa for this trainer, and when? And if so, then when they do that, that will automatically say, okay, I know where they at because I got a way of tracking and understanding where they at, as opposed to saying, well, I'm going to put you on the box and expect you to do what? Because you just stated that if I'm on the box, I got to tell you everywhere I'm going, or I'm real restricted. Now, you done created more bureaucracy. You don't want to do what you're doing already. So you done created more bureaucracy. Now you got to say, okay, I'm calling you saying, look, well, I got a job interview, and I'm trying to, and I'm here go my itinerary of where I want to go. And you tell me that, no, I can't go there. But yet you telling me that, and the reason why you saying, no, I can't go there, because it's easy for you to say, I know where you at. I know you in that house. And then when I come up and start going back to my criminal mentality and say, okay, I'm just going to give me somebody give me a pay stub. Say I got a job. And then I'm going back, I would start clocking. Now, you done created in me the need to start making money illicitly. And this contrary to your purpose. In terms of what you think the men, how you think the men and the women that's subjected to this, what do you think, how you think they feel, and what do you think their reaction should be?
Well, they definitely have to start advocating more to not just to see Salsa, but other agencies, because we know, man, like it's all about money.
That's right.
And if C Salsa can't partner with somebody that they can send a lot of their clients to, and they're gonna be getting paid for it. That's why they're not doing a lot. It's because it's no money there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, man. It's everything is about money.
Mm-hmm.
And if like the saying, show me the money. If nobody can't show you the money, then they not gonna do it. They making money off of having these individuals under probation, and that's what they pat their pockets with. But when it come to referring them to other agencies, they not getting nothing from it. So that's why they have a lack of any effort to do that. And you know, a lot of the people that's under C SOSA, they really need to sit down and advocate for themselves. They need to advocate for themselves. Find people that can advocate for them, because that's really unjust and it's going to hinder them.
And I was looking at the committee that CSOS is under, and White, that just ran for mayor, he was the chairperson of that committee, and CSOS's budget come up under that. And I was saying that as a client of CSOS, I'm going to start, me personally, I'm going to email them and ask them about that, because I got a job, but the fact that I got a job is not by the fact of no reason other than I know I needed to work. But if I could have got disability, if I could have got any of those things and been able to maintain my lifestyle, I would have got those. And they don't, it's nothing being offered in terms of if a person has a disability, if a person don't have a skill level, if a person doesn't have the aptitude to maintain a job, if the person need vocation versus employment, it doesn't address the overall needs of the people that's coming out, which let me know that CSOs don't really understand their clients and the people they supervise more so than anything else. And as I said earlier, I'm on it, and I've been noticing that the trend with CSOs has been first they had you call them, but now that the COVID is lifted, you're not coming to the agency no more. What you're doing, they telling you to go to a library, and that's how they wind up in that. See, some of the people that was down there with us, they was coming down there because their parole officer told them to come down there to see them. This is my check-in. So if you're not calling me down there to check in, I'm not coming down there. And let's on this point right here, let's close on your final thoughts on as far as what you think should be done and how you think they should go about doing it. Your solution from the yard.
Well, you know, as was spoken of before, when it come to that agency, C SOSA, you know, when we was had that conversation, and you know, one of my solutions was hiring people that are returning citizens.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because when you have an agency like that, and you have a probation or parole officer that he's being a tyrant and stuff like that, I believe that every probation and parole officer should have a liaison, you know, that's been formerly incarcerated, and he can help deal with the individual needs, because ex-con, man, he can't relate to a person that's always telling them what to do and being bearing on them and stuff like that, opposed to a guy that, you know, that's been incarcerated and he know what's going on, and he can help navigate him back into the system of normalcy. Because, you know, a lot of them, they don't have no empathy when it come to that. Because one thing about it, whether you go back to jail or whether you come home and get a job, they still gonna get paid. So it really don't matter to them whether you have any success. It don't matter.
Right.
You know, and you gotta really have somebody in that position to have empathy, you know, and you know, it put more regulation on what the probation officer can do and what he can't do. And also, like we said, man, start some form of case management.
Mm-hmm.
Start some form of case management where these case managers can get to know the individual to help them navigate to getting jobs, further their education through vocational training, etc.
Right.
Because that way, you know, you just won't have a probation officer clocking you all the time. You have somebody actually trying to help you navigate through the system.
There you have it, the alternative. And when we look at the solutions from the yard and some of the alternatives, we have like look at some of the programs that's around. You want structure, give them structure. We know the UPO have training. We know that MOCA has a list of places that offer training. Network with these places and encourage these places to train these individuals so they will have like marketable skills and be able to acclimate themselves back inside and earn an income. We at Voices for a Second Chance, we have an individual that's been hiring people, and we got this contact just by virtue of networking within the reentry community, and we have individuals in it, and that's not our wheelhouse, but we have individuals coming in, putting them in a position to get some kind of income, as opposed to put a person in the most restrictive and repressive control mechanism. I think CSOSA really need to look back, like you say, Mike. They need to, one, reevaluate their purpose. Is your purpose to continue to oppress and dehumanize individuals, or is your purpose to ensure public safety? And the way you ensure public safety is to make sure that your clients are being obedient and upstanding citizens by giving them a chance. If you taking your client and you telling your client that, like when I got out, I was on UNIU on Tuesdays and Thursday. Every day I was on maximum security status. Tuesday and Thursday. Then I sat down and on MLK and waited for my parole officer to tell me when the next time to come back. In terms of like, give me some direction, give me some resources, give me some contacts. I didn't get none of those things. In terms of, all right, well, Mr. Hopkins, here go a list of agencies I think that you should look at and let me know what they said. And if you because I will follow up. But if you don't have no case manager and your parole officer and your probation officer is wearing the hat of probation officer, case manager, or the FBI, and the CO on the tier, then you subject to get more of the latter three. Then you subject to get a case manager, and with the lack of a case management system in that is barbaric. One other point I want to make before I turn it back over to you, Mike, is that I was given the job with the Nehemiah Project, and Nehemiah Project is do transitional housing for individuals, and I went through this program, and when I went through the program, wound up getting up my own place, and as a result of me being a real productive and positive individual, they hired me. They hired me to be a peer navigator. And when they hired me to be a peer navigator, CSOSA, he got a contract with CSOSA. And CSOSA said that everybody that's going to work for the Nehemiah Project had to get a background check, which I ain't had no problem with that, because I had to get background checks in every job I had since I've been out. So I know it's not really no problem in and of itself. They told me I could not work for them, for the Nehemiah Project, because I was a client of CSOSA. Now, because I'm a client of CSOSA, I can't work. But yet, as a client of CSOSA, you tell me that I got to get a job. Now, had my situation been different and this policy came out, right now I would have the box on, because you told me CSOSA to get a job, and then when I said, well, I got a job, which is working with y'all, and y'all told me I can't have it, you gonna say like, well, hey, as far as we concerned, you don't have a job, and yeah, we didn't hire you, but you dig what I'm saying? And that's the most draconian thing I ever seen in my life, right? There you have it. Solutions from the yard. Mike, you got the last word.
Brothers and sisters out there, make sure, man, you cross all your T's and dot all your I's, man, because it's rough out there, and you got to make sure you on point, because only you can put yourself in position for success.
That's right. There you have it. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to Solutions from the Yard. This podcast is presented by Voices for a Second Chance, a comprehensive reentry program that provides culturally appropriate, trauma-informed, gender-specific, and peer-based services. For more information, go to info@vscdc.org or visit our website at www.vscdc.org. www.vscdc.org.